Hi, in this video I'm going to walk you through at least the first step or two of the process of creating this part here, which is part of our IED activity 5.5 at this point, which is called holes practice. We're going to practice making different kinds of holes: countersinks, counterbores, straight holes, tapped holes, that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I feel like the instructions do a good job of walking you through it, but at least get you started on it, okay? A couple of the more difficult steps. I think if I'm going to create this part here, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to notice that there's a diameter of 4 inches for the circular part. It's a cylinder and it's 1.5 inches thick, we see. So in order to create that, I'm going to go to over here. I'm going to create a new part. And instead of starting a 2D sketch, I'm just going to start a cylinder. I think that's the easiest thing to do. If you're not able to see this right here, if you're not able to see the primitives tab, you need to come over here to the drop down menu and make sure that the primitives box is checked. That gives you access to all sorts of basic shapes. In this case, a cylinder is what we want. It doesn't matter which plane you choose. I'm going to choose the XY plane. I'm going to start drawing from the center point. Notice I've got the green dot, so I'm locked in. I'll be fully constrained with a diameter of 4 inches. And it automatically goes to the extrude menu, and I've got to go a thickness of 1.5 inches on the cylinder. So now I've got at least the cylinder placed. I don't have the shadows and stuff, which by the way are in the view tab. If you want to go through and add shadows and stuff, you can do that, whatever. Okay, so here I have this. Now I need to draw a new sketch on the front surface. Okay, the front surface, I'm not going to do circles and extrude. That's not what this is about at all. When we're going to use holes, you're better off placing points. The point tool is right here. I'm going to place the first one. Now I need to dimension it. If you look at the dimensions on the activity, it tells us that it's a distance of 1.25 inches from the center. I'll let you find that. And the other thing you'll notice is that it's not fully constrained. It says one dimension still needed. And I can see here, this means that this can revolve, okay? So let me show you what that means. I can take this thing and I can still move it around and keep it at 1.25 inches. I'm not breaking any rules, right? So real quick, I'm just going to do a quick vertical alignment. I'm going to say this point needs to line up vertically with the center point. Now I'm locked in, okay? Now, before I go any farther with this, notice I got out of the vertical alignment tool. I'm going to go circular pattern, okay? And the thing that I want to circular pattern, now when I do this, I think it's easier to look at it from an angle. The thing I want to circular pattern is this point. The axis that I want to pattern around is the dot in the middle. I don't need 6 dots, I need 5. So I'm going to create 5 points. I'm going to click OK, and you'll see now that it has 5 of them placed in symmetrical fashion all the way around the cylinder. I'm done with my sketch. I'm going to finish the sketch. Now I'm going to show you just one of these. So now that we've got 5 points, I'll show you the first hole. It's just going to be a straight hole. But notice what happens when I click there. It wants to use all 5 at once. If you hold down the Shift button and you click on the center points here, you can deselect until you get down to just one. That's the only one that I want for the first one. It doesn't matter which of the 5 you do, by the way. Okay, but let's just choose this one. And according to the dimensions, it's a 1/4 inch diameter hole, so that's perfect because I have a 1/4 inch is what it defaults to. The termination, it says all the way through. Instead of going down a certain distance, it's going to go all the way through. And this is just a straight hole. I'm going to click OK, and I'm done with that. Okay, now that's the first hole. The question is, I created those 5 points. How do I get those 5 points now to be available to me because I want to keep using them? I want to use the other 4, right? Well, in order to do that, if I come over here and I expand my menu for sketch 1 and I find that, oh, that's not sketch 1, that's not what I need. How about this? Sketch 2, the one with the points on it. I'm going to right click. This is a neat feature. I'm going to share the sketch. By sharing this sketch, you'll see that now sketch 2 appears inside of the hole 1 part in our browser, but it also is over here on its own. That means I can just reuse it as often as I need to. So I can go back and I can choose hole, and look, it chooses the other 4. I have to go through the same process of holding down shift and deselecting the others, and then I just need to go through, and your job from here on out is to follow the instructions and change the type of hole you have from a straight hole to a counterbore, countersink, whatever you want over here, and just make the menu match whatever it says in the instructions. It's just practice on different kinds of holes that you're creating. That's why it's called this part. Hopefully that helps out and get you going on this holes practice for activity 5.5 in IED.